Hello, this is Gamal Hassan, and in this video we're gonna answer two transition questions from the digital SAT. Let's get started. My friends, in this video we're gonna tackle two transition questions, but my question is, how can I tell that this is a transition question? Go directly to the question stem. You're gonna find it saying which choice completes the text with the most logical transition. So for sure this is a transition question, and also all the answer choices here are words and phrases that show transition or relationship between two ideas or two sentences. Okay, so since this is a transition question, my question now, or the question now, is how to tackle transition questions. So first of all, you need to read the text carefully. It is very important for you to read the text carefully. And you must expect that in the text we have two ideas, or the text expresses two ideas. Your task is to summarize and understand and summarize the text and to know the relationship between the two ideas in the text, and based on that you're going to choose the most or the best transition word or phrase to be plugged in or to complete the text. Okay, so you're gonna read carefully, you're gonna summarize, and then you're gonna the third step is to just try to figure out the relationship between the two sentences and then, or the two ideas, and then you can choose accordingly. My friends, a very important thing is to know that we have some relationships between sentences that frequently appear in SAT. First of all, we may have two sentences that agree with each other. In such case, I'm going to search for a transition word that can function or can just help me express agreement. Also, we may have disagreement or contradiction between the two ideas. Also, we may have a sequence or order. This is when we just want to put events or any things in time order or in order. And also may have addition, or whenever one sentence gives an example of the other, and also may have a cause and effect relationship between the two ideas in the text. Okay, my friends, a very important tip that must be known: in some cases you may find copycat answers. Copycat answers is when two answer choices function in the same way or have the same meaning. For example, if I'm reading and a text, or if I'm dealing with a transition question, if you find also and in addition, these are what we call copycat. Why? Because they have the same function. Okay, they have the same meaning, and we can use them when one sentence elaborates on or adds to the other. So these two transitions cannot be both right. So since they both cannot be right, so both are wrong. So eliminate copycat or copycats. Okay, so first of all, here I have this question. First of all, as I said, the first step is to read carefully and to try to summarize the two ideas in a text and to try to figure out the relationship between them, and based on that I'm going to choose the best answer. Okay, so I'm going to read carefully and then I'm going to try to summarize. Okay, let's get started once more. So although novels and poems are considered distinct literary forms, many authors have created hybrid works that incorporate elements of both, and this is the end of the first sentence. Okay, so the first idea here says that poems, novels, and poems are different, but some authors try to create or to merge the elements of both in their writings. Okay, Bernardin, the Emperor's Babe, blank is a verse novel. It is a verse novel, a verse and novel, and this is clear that this merges the two elements of novels and poetry. Okay, so a book length narrative complete with characters and plot, but conveyed in short, crisp. So it is plot, characters. So for sure these are some elements of novels. Okay, crisp lines of poetry. So it is written in poetry. So for sure the second sentence or the second idea tells us that this specific example, The Emperor's Babe, is a novel but it is written in poetry. So for sure I can tell that the second sentence gives an example of what was expressed in the first sentence. Okay, so here I can choose something that can help me just say that the second sentence gives an example of the previous or the first sentence. So by contrast, for sure this is not true, because it means that if we have the second sentence or the second idea contradicts the first, in such case we can choose by contrast, but this is not the case here. Consequently means a result, and this can be chosen, so for sure this is not the case, and this can be chosen when we want to express that the second sentence or the second idea is a result or resulted from the first. But here this Emperor's Babe is not a result of what was mentioned in the previous sentence. Secondly is not correct as well, because secondly expresses another reason. Okay, it tells us if we have mentioned one reason in the previous sentence and then the second sentence expresses another reason. And don't forget that the missing transition word or phrase is within the second sentence. So here we said that this novel, Emperor's Babe, is an example or gives us an example of how authors can merge the elements of poetry and novels in the same piece of writing. So for example is the best answer here. So the answer is D. Okay, is it clear? Okay, I'm gonna move to question number 30. The same way, it is a transition question, so I'm gonna just try to simplify or summarize the ideas, and then I'm gonna choose based on this. So it says here, at 2 weeks old, the time their critical socialization period begins. Wolves can smell but cannot yet see or hear. And this is the end of the first idea or the first sentence. So it says simply, I'm going to simplify it, that at the age of 2, wolves can smell but cannot see or cannot hear. Okay, let's move to the other or the next sentence or the next idea. Domesticated dogs blank can see, hear, and smell by the end of 2 weeks. So if we stop here, for sure, the second sentence, okay, because the transition word is within the second sentence, we can say that the idea in the second sentence contradicts the idea in the previous sentence. Why? Because the previous one or the first idea says that wolves can smell but cannot see or hear. On the other hand, dogs can see, smell, and hear at the same age. So there are difference or disagreement between the two ideas. Let's move on. So this relative lack of sensory input may help explain why wolves behave so differently around humans than dogs do. From a very young age, wolves are more wary and less exploratory. So I can tell for sure that the two ideas contradict each other, or there is a disagreement between the two sentences. So I'm going to search for a transition word or phrase that can help me express disagreement. So in other words is not correct, because in other words means that the two is when the two ideas or the two sentences express the same idea but in different words, or when the second idea paraphrases the first one, which is not the case here. For instance, is when the second sentence gives, or the second idea gives an example, okay, of the previous sentence, which is not the case as well. By contrast, which is the case here, because there is a contradiction. Wolves can only, at the age of 2 weeks, they can only smell but can't hear or see. On the other hand, or by contrast, dogs can see, smell, and hear at the same age. So this is the correct answer. This is the correct answer. Okay, and accordingly also is not correct, because accordingly means as a result, or whenever we talk about a cause and effect relationship. So C is the correct answer. Okay, so I'm gonna sum up. Whenever you have a transition question and it is very clear that this is a transition question from the Question STEM. First of all, you need to read the text carefully and try to summarize the ideas expressed in the text and to try to figure out the relationship between the two sentences, the two ideas, and then based on the relationship between the two ideas, you can choose the best transition that can help you express this. And if you have copycats, two transitions that can function the same way, you can eliminate both of them because both of them are incorrect, because both of them cannot be correct. Okay, and that's all, and thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Okay, thank you.